Hey, my name is Mel and I'm a full-time eBay seller here in Australia. Today I'm going to show you my processes that I use to photograph books really fast.
So I like to do everything in batches. So I price list in batches and then I do the photography in batches. So all these books in the tubs have been price comped now and they're all waiting for me to photograph. So what I do when I price comp is I normally have a table set up right here and I put all the books that I'm about to price comp and I stand here with my phone and I manually enter in all the names of the books to find out what they are selling for. Now I know in America and UK that you have book scanners and you're able to scan your books quickly to see how much they're worth. But in Australia, it's a little bit different. We can use the camera scanner that's located in the search button of the eBay website app. However, because it's not compulsory to enter the barcode into the Australian listings, most resellers do not actually enter it. So the results that you get are very hit and miss, and I just find it far too inaccurate to use the scanning mode on my app. So what I have to do is type in the name of the book and the author, and manually search how much they're selling for and look up how much they've sold for. And then I have these tubs that are priced $12, $14, $15, $16, $18, $20, and $22. And as I'm price comping, I'm putting the books into each relative tub based on the price. Now, if I have any books worth over $22, I start making piles of them either on my packing bench or on a trestle table, and I just have little cards that say how much that pile is worth. So these ones here are all worth $30. These ones here are all worth $25. These ones are $28, this one's $50, $40, and there's some 24s over there and 35s.
So I always photograph my books from the highest price to the lowest price. So I would always start off in here where my bundles have been made up of the higher priced ones on the packing table, or if I had them on a trestle table, wherever I've put the higher priced ones, they're the ones that I start with, and then I will move from tub to tub and I will work through from the highest priced ones down to the lowest.
Now, when I'm doing my photography, I set 3 trestle tables up in my corridor like this. I don't use any additional lighting. All I use is the light that's above me. This one's not even working properly, but that light there above my whiteboard setup, where I just use the white core flute, 2 pieces of white core flute, this is exactly how I photograph. Now, the reason I have 3 tables set up like this is because I run in a systematic line. Now, these magnetic boards are what I use to help my virtual assistant. If you don't give them every piece of information, I guarantee they won't put it in. So even if you were looking to sell clothes and use a virtual assistant, I would highly recommend setting up a board, something similar to this, with your specific item specifics that you can give to your virtual assistant. Now, I've just made these boards myself and they're just simple whiteboards. I've printed out everything that I need and I've just got them laminated, and then I've got little magnet strips that I've put on the back of them so that they can just sit there easily and I can throw them up on the boards quickly while I'm working. Now, for an example, I've brought over all the books here that were in the tub of $18 books to photograph. What I do once I bring over those books is I separate them into paperbacks and into hardcovers. So I have a pile of paperbacks and a pile of hardcovers. That way, when I'm doing my listings and I'm using all my little bits of information for the virtual assistants, I don't have to keep chopping and changing. I can do all the ones that are paperbacks at once, then I can do all the ones that are hardcovers at once. I also put them into piles of non-fiction and fiction. Again, it's just so I don't have to keep changing the little snippets for the virtual assistant. When I'm photographing a book, I always take a photo of the front cover, I take a photo of the back cover. If it's a non-fiction book, I will take some pictures inside if it's appropriate, like with a cooking book or a gardening book or something like this. I would take a few photos inside. I then take a photo of the spine and I take a photo of each side of the book. And then once I've done that, I move the book over here in front of my little reference for the virtual assistant and I take a photo of that. And then when I send all the book listings to the virtual assistant, this is how she knows what to enter the book as. Now, my virtual assistant also has templates made up for different types of books. So she's got non-fiction, fiction, gardening, cooking, religious, as many different ones as I can think of, she's got specific templates made up. But as long as I'm putting these here, then she's got all the information. She knows exactly what type of condition to put that particular book in. I tell her whether or not it's a paperback or a hardback, because in the past she's actually sent me messages saying, is this a hardback or a paperback? So like I said, you literally have to spoon feed them. They don't necessarily want to be just looking at the book and writing in all the item specifics. They want you to give them as much of the information as you can. And I've made the templates for her, and I've filled out a lot of the information there that can remain the same for each book is already in that template for her. Having these here right next to where I photograph makes it super easy, and it makes sure that my virtual assistant enters in all the right details. Now, after I photograph the book, I slide the book over across onto this table, and then I start piling them up into piles. And the back pile here is with surnames up to K, and anything from L onwards goes down in this pile. And then I'll have multiple piles going. So then what happens is it makes it really easy for me to put these away, because my listings are in alphabetical order going by the surname. So aisle 1 here goes to K, and this aisle is L to W. So if I just have to grab this pile here, and I'll know that all of these books go in this one aisle. So then I'm not going back and forth and back and forth. I'm just going straight to the aisle that needs to be done. Now I'm just using my iPhone to photograph these with, and I just use the square setting on my iPhone, and I use the vivid setting, and then I put the exposure setting there so I can adjust the exposure if need be. But that's the only thing that I'm doing. I don't have any extra lights, and I just basically stick to this same system. It's like a rolling system. The books start here, they come here, I photograph them, I'm in reach of my little charts to change up my references for the virtual assistant, and then the books go onto the next table so that I can put them away. Now, by doing it this way, if all the books are already price comped, then I'm actually able to photograph about 100 books in an hour. Once I've done my photographing, I go back home and send those images off to the virtual assistant. And if there's any photographs there that I need to list, any of the more expensive books or the bundles, then I just have a folder on my computer of books that have been photographed there. And every time I get a spare chance at the computer, I try and list a few of those books that are in that folder. As you can see, it really is a simple setup, but it works perfectly for me, and I get so many photographed at once that allows me to get lots of listings up into my store. This system works for me. It's very streamlined, it's very simple, and everything works in perfect order. It's like a machine, it's like a conveyor belt, from one end of the table to the other, to then the books going away, to then the books being listed. The best thing you can do as a reseller is find a system that works for you so that you can work fast and have a fast workflow. If you want to watch a video that shows what it's like to be a full-time bookseller, then just click the link here on the screen and it'll take you through and show you what it's like as a day in the life of a reselling mum.